Unlike baseball, which is the last sport that we looked at, football is a timed game. There is a clock, and so the winner of the game is the team that has the most points when time expires. So then naturally the next question would be, well, how do I score points? And how do I win the game? So let's take a look at how you score points in this video. So the first way, probably the most common way to score, is what is called a touchdown. And a touchdown is worth 6 points, and that is the most points that you can receive at any one time for any one score. So if you remember that from the field from the first video, and this area here, the unmarked area on both sides, are called the end zone, and the end zone separated from the rest of the field by the goal line. So if your team is on offense and you drive down the field, and of course we'll talk about the specifics of how to move the ball down the field in later videos, but if you do drive the ball down the field and you get the ball on or over the goal line into the end zone, that means your team has scored a touchdown, and so you would then receive 6 points. After you score that touchdown, what you then get is a decision you have to make, and so you can either do one of two things. The first thing is called attempt an extra point, and the other thing that you can try to do is attempt a 2-point conversion. Usually teams will go for the extra point. What happens to get an extra point, the ball will, your team kind of, after the touchdown, you kind of get a free play. So the ball will be placed on the 2-yard line. That's why this extra white line in the middle is here. So the ball is placed there on the 2-yard line. The offense somebody will snap the ball back, and a kicker will attempt to kick the ball through those uprights. And being that you're so close, there's a high chance of you making that kicking the ball through the uprights and getting that 1 point. So most teams will generally elect to go for that extra point. The other option you have would be to go for the 2-point conversion. You probably guessed by now that the 2-point conversion is worth 2 points. So again, this is the kind of a free play after the touchdown. If you decide not to do the extra point, you'll still put the ball on the 2-yard line, and then you have the option to try to get the ball into the end zone again. And so you can either run it in or pass it, throw it through the air, and catch it in the end zone. If that is successful, then you get 2 points. So you might wonder, why do teams try to do this all the time? It's only 2 yards, which yes it is, but you only get one chance to do it, and of course you have the defense there trying to stop you. So that is generally why teams will stick to the extra point. The second most popular way to score would be something called a field goal. And a field goal would be worth 3 points. So a field goal is kind of like an extra point, and we'll look at the whole procedures on how to kick the ball, both in kickoffs and field goals. But for a field goal, it's kind of like the extra point, only instead of kicking it starting at the 2, you can kick it from wherever, wherever the ball happens to be. So your team will be moving down the field, and of course you are limited in the number of opportunities you have to move the ball, progress it to the end zone. So let's say you're stopped, maybe you get down to the 20-yard line, and your team decides, okay, I want to kick a field goal. Again, they would snap it back, the holder would hold the ball on the ground, and then the kicker would again, of course, try to kick that through the uprights. If the ball does go through the uprights, the field goal is good. Your team gets 3 points, although there's no extra point or 2-point conversion after field goal. Those are only after the touchdown. So if it goes in, if the field goal is good, your team gets 3 points. If you miss it, though, then the other team would get the ball starting on the 20-yard line, and then they would go back, go in the opposite direction, try to score a touchdown on the other end. So there is some risk involved there. Lastly, the final way to look at how to score is something called the safety. And the safety is worth 2 points. So these first two, the touchdown and the field goal, those are both things that the team on offense, the team with the ball, does. That is their goal to get there. But the safety is actually points that can be scored whenever you are on defense. So let's say this team, maybe the blue team we were talking about here earlier, has the ball and somehow they're way back here on their own 2-yard line. So they're trying to go the whole way down to this end zone, and they have a long ways to go. So the ball gets into play. Maybe the quarterback drops back. We'll get into all the positions in the next video, but the quarterback now drops back, and then the defensive team comes in and they tackle him, or they stop him in his own end zone, in the offense's own end zone back here. And if that would occur, then the defensive team would receive those 2 points. So those are the ways that you can score points in football.